get started.
Here comes Megan.
Oh, there's Megan. Great. Great. All right, I call this meeting of the April 1st, 2021 Board of Zoning Adjustments to order. Would someone call the roll? Angie, is that you or?
Yeah, I'll call for it.
Oh, thank you, Fred.
All right. Ms. Smith? Ms. Smith? All right. Ms. LaBeouf?
Here.
Mr. Cole?
Here.
Ms. Hand?
Here.
Mr. Foley?
Here.
Mr. Roberts?
Here.
Mr. Gear?
Here.
And again, Ms. Smith, did you join us? Nope. All right.
I'm here. I'm sorry, I was
Oh,
muted.
you are here. Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right, good. All right, did everyone have a chance to read the minutes of the March 4th meeting? Were there any? I didn't notice any corrections. Did anyone else?
Look good to me.
Yeah, this is Stuart Roberts. I looked at them pretty closely and they look good.
Okay. All my cat's attacking me. Sorry.
You don't really get a chance.
Watch out for me. I'm sorry. Go away. So do I have a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
A second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Minutes are approved. I don't have a report tonight, but I'm going to ask Brian Wallace from Jetty Trip at the start of the cases to explain to the public how to be heard. So I just wanted to give y'all a heads up on that. Mr. Foley, do you have any communications? The Vice President?
I have none.
Thank you. Okay. Brian, would you kind of give our visitors an overview of what to do if they would like to speak during the public portion of the case?
Yes, ma'am. So from this point forward, we ask that all participants please stay muted. There will come a point where you will be provided an opportunity to comment on a case. At that point, you will be able to unmute yourself. If a couple of you unmute at the same time, just use some politeness and work with each other. Everybody will get a chance to talk and speak during that item. We do ask that once you are done, that you mute yourself again. And we do ask that once the public speaking portion is done for that item, that you don't come back once that's closed and provide any additional comments. That's it.
Great. Thank you. All right. First case is BZA case SV 21-04-01. The applicant, please come forward and tell us the nature of your hardship.
This is William Siegel with Twin Construction. I live at 1707 Shades Park Drive in Homewood. The owner is proposing to put a new house on a current vacant lot. The lot is a triangular shaped lot with an alley on the left side of the property. And it's also the last property on that street, facing the street. What we're proposing is that we be granted a front setback that would allow us to essentially draw a line from the neighboring properties to the left, which is a corner lot that's facing Morris, and the neighbor to the right. And the reason being, because of the triangular shaped lot, you're not able to put the house in its proper location. So we also think the sight lines, if you look at the aerial view that I provided, the sight lines would make sense and be appropriate for that front setback variance. We would proffer on that if the variance be granted, that we do not, we're not requesting that the whole setback be changed. We could proffer that the setback be in accordance with the angle drawn on the survey, if that makes sense. Because I know technically if y'all approve the front setback, I mean, the building could be moved forward. That's not the proposal. The proposal is that we can get this side garage on there and then push the house back as drawn on the plans. The left side of the property we mentioned was a alley. The alley has been improved with some gravel. We're proposing that we get a 5-foot setback on that side, and we're asking for a 8-foot setback on the right side of the property. If that variance on the right side were granted, we would still have almost 18 feet to the right neighboring property. And feel free to ask me any questions about any of those 3 variance requests.
All right, this is a public meeting. If anyone would like to speak to this case, you may do so now by following Brian's instructions. Please state your name and address when you're ready to talk. One more chance. Anyone's here to talk about that?
You're muted, Beverly.
We'll close the public portion and open it up for the members of the board for their questions.
Did you explore a single car garage in order to build within the setbacks?
No, as that was not a request from the client. They would prefer the more typical 2-car garage.
I've got several questions. So got a lot being asked here from a front and 2 sides based on a house plan that's it's not necessarily drawn to work with the lot. But a couple of things I have is the garage. Even if I could accept it to be there, why is it not opening back to the alley that's available? I realize it's not, someone would have to put pavement to it, but you got to put a driveway to this garage anyways on the front side. Why couldn't we do it on the typical alley side?
2 reasons. The typical turning radius, as you know, I know you know, but would be 25 feet to have a proper turning radius into that garage. So that would actually require that garage to be pulled forward even farther to get that turning radius. The alley is only 10 feet now. So to get a 25-foot turning radius to enter from the rear would be difficult. I know some garages are not built with a 25-foot radius, but they are more difficult to enter at that point. And the second, again, the plans and the proposal and the drawings are based off of owner request on how they approach the property.
So the next time you come with an alley garage solution to me, I'll bring the 25-foot rule to you.
I don't, I'm not going to respond to that.
Yeah, well, I was just saying it's a little, I think it could work. It might even give you some room to move it up closer to the house from that standpoint. It just seems like the width of the house also is forcing your hand on the right side.
Yeah, and I'm
2 additional feet.
Yeah, I would say we would be willing to break those variance requests up into 3 requests if there is, an issue per se with the right side. The thought was, the spacing with the neighbor was so far that we felt like, there would be an opportunity there on the right side. But again, if that request needs to be voted on separately, I would understand that.
Ms. LaBeouf, I have a question from staff.
Okay, I was about to ask mine, but you may go ahead. Thank you.
The drawing that you had of that has the line across it, that angled line. I'm not sure if all of that was supposed to be to scale or not. We scaled it or figured out what the scale was, and then measured the distance back on the lot, and we were coming up with a wider house than you had lot area available, or that would fit within these requests. That it just appeared that the drawing that you provided the plot plan that you provided did not have the same square footage that the house plan did. And we don't want that to be an issue when, you know, if the board were to approve some sort of a variance, but this particular house is not going to fit within those limits, we
Understood.
that.
Is that directed at me? Because I can answer that. If
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. I just,
the plot plan is what we're asking for. The plans that I provided were inspirational designs from the client. So the client had a concept of what they wanted to do based off this lot configuration. We are well aware that the plans will have to be modified to fit.
okay, good.
this
Because I
variance
was coming up with
request.
like 51
No,
feet on
no,
your plot
Thank you for
plan.
checking that, but that I know, you know, oftentimes the board likes reviewing, you know, a visual of what we're trying to do, and that was intended to be the visual of what the client is after.
Okay, so then it's this, then it would be understood and on the record that this particular house plan with those dimensions is not the exact plan. I just
That's
want to make
correct.
sure that's understood. I
Yeah,
didn't
that's
want.
correct. That's fair.
Okay, that's what I needed to cover. Thank you.
Was any
Um,
thought given to moving the garage to the rear? Although I know it would take a great deal of the backyard of the
Yeah,
yard behind the house.
Yeah,
The
honestly, we
backyard-
had looked at some dimensions to try to just some kind of site plans to try to make that work. And that is the issue, that the garage is the backyard, if that's the case. And depending on how that works, you may be left with a little, you know, the end of the triangle is your backyard, and you would have, you know, your front yard, but you can't maintain any kind of backyard if you were to put the garage back there, because again, the garage would be forced to be on the back right of the property because you have no back left of the property.
But then you wouldn't need the front variance. So, I mean, you
That's
wouldn't be
correct.
moving the house, it's so far out.
Yeah, again, the thought on the front variance, and this is why we're asking for the request, and obviously it's up to y'all on whether that gets granted or not, but the thought on the front setback was from a visual standpoint, you know, since there was a hardship of an irregular shaped lot, from a visual perspective, would it make sense to pull that forward? Because, you know, right now, if you drive down the street, you know, there's a garage that's the Morris garage neighbor that pokes out, right? And so the concept, and again, y'all probably all know this, but the old front setback had us pulling a string from neighbor to neighbor. Now this is a little bit different, but it was the same type of concept when we came up with, can we make this work? Well, you know, we were going to request the variance to go back to the old pull the string idea from neighbor to neighbor, so that you had a visual. So it was nothing that would be visually impairing, I guess, as you drove down the street.
I do have a question about the dashed line that's angled
Correct.
and versus the neighbor to neighbor line. What's the official line, Sherry? Just a straight line from the neighbor on one side, since there isn't a neighbor on the other side?
To determine the front setback?
Yeah, for front setbacks.
Yes, it would be that neighbor next door.
So it's just one neighbor, so it's I guess you take the plane of its front elevation and draw it straight across the next door neighbor's property. I've not
Correct.
run into this before. I've ran into it because of corner lots, but corner lots used to have their own rule when you didn't have a house on the other side, and we've changed all that. So I'm just trying to understand what is the real front setback set by when you are at the end of a run, I guess is the question.
If you look at the old survey, what they've labeled as the old survey, the old house was in line with the neighboring house.
Mhm.
So that is where they came up with that, front setback, which would be accurate. And I measured that too, to see, and all of the houses along, Edgeland Place are, just within a couple of really almost inches of one another.
So, William, what's the front of the new house compared to the front of the existing house when I look at the old, which is, I guess, the line? Is it on that line? Is it also past that line?
I think it's also
just the
past the line. I would have to, let me look real quick. Well, no, it's saying no, the way this is scaled, it's 30 feet back. So that would be basically at the same
Yeah,
line. So
at
the
the
house
same.
proper would be at the same line. So I guess the variance request really is just for the corner of that garage or the garage on the left side. But yes, you're right. Yeah, the house proper would be in compliance.
Another thing that I think the board should consider, that since this is attached and it's not a detached garage, it can be the maximum height of the house. So it would not be limited to 25 feet like a detached garage would be as an accessory structure.
And,
So
and we can proffer that too. The intent is obviously not to build a massive 35-foot structure for the garage.
But William, more than that, just corner of that garage is going to be past the setback. I mean,
That's right.
Yes.
I'd said corner,
mean,
but then I
it's-
tried to retract. But yeah, I mean, it's half the garage.
it's yeah, it's at least half the garage, and that's a lot. A lot. Hmm.
Can I request that that those proffers be made for the front setback with the height being limited to the 25 feet? And then the angle as proposed, as opposed to changing the whole front setback? And then can I also request that the 3 variances be voted on separately?
So you want to proffer that garage will be how tall? What's the
Well, it's
overall-
limited to what is the accessory structure? I believe it's 25 feet. If it's not, it just needs a
Yeah,
roof line to match the house.
the maximum height for an accessory structure is 25 feet.
Okay.
So I would proffer that, and then if it helps, I don't know if it helps on the angle, but just that there is, the request. Maybe it's easier just to say that the request is just for the garage structure on the front
Or
setback.
submitted as drawn.
Submit as drawn.
That's fine.
Yeah,
Submitted as drawn is easier.
There any more questions from the board before we have a motion?
None for me.
I'm good.
Do I hear a motion? And it would have to be 3 motions. 1, 2, and 3, according to Mr. Siegel.
Let
All
me
right.
get back.
I'll do my best.
Yeah, I know. I'm sitting there to
I
find the
move,
thing.
I move we approve BZA case 21-04-01 for the front setback request of 14.6 feet with the proffer that the garage structure is limited to 25 feet in height, and the setback is the angle shown on the site plan submitted. Did I get it correct?
I think so.
Nice work.
Yeah, good job.
There's a second.
On the second's the easy part here.
Come on, folks.
I would, but I can't vote. John and I can't help you, so you're down to 3.
Well, no, everybody's here. But
Right.
down to 4 because I can as chairman.
Right, one is already.
Oh,
one's
yeah,
already-
that's right. So we're down to 7.
Yeah, I'll second.
Okay, great.
Didn't realize we had to fight for that.
Y'all are too used to me, so I'm sorry. Okay,
All right.
Fred, are you taking the vote?
Yeah, I will call the roll. All right.
Okay, great.
All right, Ms. Smith,
No.
Mr. Cole,
No,
Mr. Foley,
No.
Ms. Hand,
No.
Ms. LaBeouf.
No.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve BZA case SV 21-04-01 for the right building setback request of 2 feet.
I'll second.
So, all right. Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Cole,
Yes,
Mr. Foley,
Yes.
Ms. Hand,
Yes.
Ms. LaBeouf.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve BZA case SV 21-04-01 for the left building setback request of 5 feet.
I'll second.
Okay. All right, Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Cole,
Yes,
Mr. Foley,
Yes.
Ms. Hand,
No.
Ms. LaBeouf.
Yes. Okay, the first motion does not pass. The second for the right building setback passes, and for the left building setback also passes.
Y'all for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. The next case is BZA case SV 21-04-02, 913 Westover Drive.
This is Jared Bussey, 1604 28th Avenue South. I am the architect on the project. Can everybody hear me?
yes.
Okay, great. The owner is seeking to do a 2-story addition off the side of their house. As you can tell, the hardship is going to be the shape of the lot. It is a 3-sided triangle. And we are asking for, because of the front yard is a long end of the triangle. We've got our 10 and 10 side yard setbacks. So we're asking for a 1-foot variance so that we can build 9 feet from that right side setback. When this house was built, just for some context, there was a variance granted on the left side for a 9-foot setback as well. I believe at the time that variance was granted on both sides. I'm not really sure. And that certainly wouldn't apply to us now. So we're kind of re-asking for that variance again on the right side. But again, the hardship is just being such a pinched lot and such a drastic angle from front to back. We'd like a little relief so we can get a proper sized addition there on the side.
This is a public meeting. If one would like to speak to this case, please unmute yourself and state your name and address for the record. Anyone? So this is just for that one little corner.
That's correct. Yes.
Ms. Williams, do we know if a variance was requested on this or granted on this lot before? Sherry?
I'm sorry, I don't know. Fred, do you know? Did you check?
No, I have not. I don't know the answer.
Okay.
The owners mentioned that it's been several years since this house was built, so I don't have the files myself or the record.
So, Jared, can you explain how we need 1 foot and you can't make it work without the 1 foot? What's keeping you from doing that?
Well, I think, to get, with the angle of the lot, the 1 foot really results in, a little bit more than 1 foot laterally when you're kind of coming out from the house in terms of the geometry of that angle. And just being able to get a proper living space on the ground floor, and then upstairs, the owners have multiple children and need that extra bedroom, bathroom. And so just getting usable space up there, the 1 foot isn't much, but it makes a big difference when we're looking at bedrooms and bathrooms. So I kind of see where you're going. We'd like to think it's a small ask to give us some relief that would have a really kind of a big impact, even though it is just 12 inches.
Any other questions or concerns from the board?
I'll make a motion to approve BZA case SV 21-04-02.
I second that.
Thank you. Fred?
All right. All right, Ms. Smith,
No.
Mr. Cole,
Yes.
Mr. Foley,
Yes.
Ms. Hand,
Yes.
Ms. LaBeouf.
Yes. Your motion passes, and you have 180 days to pull your permit.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. The next case is BZA case SV 21-04-03, 214 Malaga Avenue. Joe, you're on mute.
I got the video. They'll get half the credit for getting the video going. Sorry.
I'll give you 3/4 credit.
Thanks. I'll take what I can get today. Sorry. Joe Ellis. I'm the architect for the owners, Thomas and Katie Wells. My address is 1625 Linda Vista Lane, 35226. This is actually a project that we submitted previously that was granted a variance. The project did not move forward for budget reasons, and the owners now are wanting to proceed. It's been more than a year, so we're resubmitting. Scope of the project, I think I submitted a floor plan and an elevation, is to replace an existing screen porch, non-conforming, that lines up with the non-conforming house. That's basically our hardship there. So we're trying to connect to and work to a non-conforming structure. We're also hoping to improve the existing situation by removing existing side deck and set of stairs. I think you can see in the pictures we submitted. We've set the porch in as much as I could. We'll also have a set of existing doors coming out of that living space. So currently the way it's drawn, the corner of the porch will be about 6.5 feet off the property line. So we're respectfully requesting that this variance be approved again with a 3.5 foot setback.
There anyone that would like, we're going to open the public portion now. If there's anyone that would like to speak to this, they may join the meeting now. Seeing none, I will close the public portion and open it up for questions from the board.
Joe, the house portion, the gable above it stays as is, correct?
Yes, I'm sorry. I should have. The porch itself will have a single pitch shed roof to clear that existing window that's in that gable that's existing.
Right. And you've taken the existing deck and pushed it in to give some relief. You got rid of the existing stair, but in your elevation, it doesn't show the stair in front, but I thought I saw it in your site plan that there's going to be a stair.
Correct. There will be a stair going down to grade in the back. That's right. You're correct. It's in the plan, but not the elevation.
And it wouldn't extend past the new deck, the start of that landing for the stairs down, right?
That's right. That's right. It'll stay within the outside face of that porch.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
I move we approve BZA case SV-21-04-03.
I'll second.
All right. All right, Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Cole. Mr. Cole?
Sorry, mute. Yes.
Yes, all right. Mr. Foley,
Yes.
Ms. Hand,
Yes.
Ms. LaBeouf.
Yes. The motion is, your motion, pardon me, your case is approved and you have 180 days to pull your permit. Thank you,
Great.
Joe.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. The next case is BZA case SV 21-04-04, 322 Sterrett Avenue. Come forward and give your name and address and the nature of your hardship. I'm leaving this out.
Hi guys, David Rogers at 322 Sterrett Avenue. Our hardship is that our existing structure is currently 8 feet 1 inches back from the setback line, and we're looking to build an addition. And on the left-hand side, to go back, we would have to, if we adhered to the 10-foot setback line, we'd have to cut into, take a portion of the addition out. What we're looking to do is just go directly back from the existing structure. So it would be about a 1'9" variance in order to do that. In order to do so. So again, yeah, the hardship is just that we wouldn't be able to go back from our existing structure if we were to be compliant with the existing setback. I don't know if I said that all correctly, but
Sounds good.
right.
We'll open the public portion now. If there's anyone here that would like to speak to this case, they can do so now by muting themselves.
Well, I know I have my neighbor Chuck Williams who is here for support.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I am in agreement with this. It looks fine. I don't think it'll have any negative impact on me. Total agreement.
Great, thanks, Chuck.
Could you state your address for the record, please?
Pardon me, Charles Williams, 320 Sterrett Avenue.
Thank you.
Yeah, so he's on the side where the variance would be, basically.
Thank you. Anyone else? We'll close.
So, Mr. Rogers, that basically the existing house, from front to back is actually pulling away a hair from the property line. So you're just continuing that with the addition, which pulls it even a little bit further from where the front corner of the house actually exists at this point, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
The materials of the addition, are you trying to match what's on the existing?
Yes, sir.
This is a 1-level addition?
It is. Yes, sir.
I mean, I see the drawings, but I want to make sure that's appropriate still if things have changed.
No, that's the same as what it is.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve BZA case SV 21-04-04.
A second.
Okay, all right. Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Cole,
Yes.
Mr. Foley,
Yes.
Ms. Han,
Yes.
Ms. LeBeau.
Yes. Your application's been approved and you have 180 days to pull your permit.
Thank you very
Good
much,
luck.
guys. I appreciate your time. Cheers.
Thank you. Okay. Last case, 702 Morris Boulevard, BZA case SB 21-04-05. The applicant come forward and tell us the nature of their hardship.
Yeah, my name is Mac Braden. I'm speaking on behalf of the owner. My address is 5305 12th Avenue South, 35222. Here we have an existing garage shed in the backyard of the property, and we're looking to enlarge that to accommodate kind of more of the modern day vehicle. The existing shed just isn't sized appropriately to act as a garage. We're also looking to utilize space above the garage as a office, so the owner can continue to work from home. The setbacks, we intend to leave the corner of the existing structure that's on the left and the rear where they are, and expand into the yard on the right and the front. So the setbacks listed are currently non-conforming. We are hoping to take advantage of being able to put the stair on the left side up to the upper part of the addition so as to not encroach into the yard any further than we already are with the addition or the expansion. And in order to get the work from home space, the office space above the garage, the height does increase. I apologize, I can't recall what the existing height. Oh, it's 15 feet to 21.8 feet, and that comes up just enough to get the space above, and also maintain roof lines and everything to the existing house. So all the materials, roof pitches and things like that would match the existing house.
Okay, excuse me. We'll now open the public portion of this case, and if there's anyone here would like to speak to this, you may do so now. Anyone wanting to speak? Okay, and then we'll close the public portion. And Fred, I believe the office had some correspondence about this case.
Yes, we received 3 emails or letters in opposition to that, and all those were forwarded to board members for your review prior to tonight's meeting. So hopefully you have those with you. But they
Thank you. I just wanted to be sure there weren't any others.
Yeah, three was all that I'm aware of. Right.
Thank you. All right. Questions
Ms. Le-
from the board?
Ms. LaBeouf, can I add something real quick that was not included in the report?
Sure.
In the application, there's a little paragraph that says, in order to prevent excessive rainwater, the garage will have gutters where necessary and will be hooked into current French drain system. The building code prohibits a structure to be 2 feet. You know, remember that we had that issue come up before with the deck, I believe, but it can't be any closer than 2 feet to a property line. They are requesting 2 feet 4 inches on that side. So any sort of drainage attachment that they plan to do could not put them, or any overhang, anything could not put them any closer than that to that side property line. They could not be, they don't get the same amount of overhang that you would for a house, you know, does that make sense? Okay, I just wanted to throw that out there because I forgot to address it in the report.
If I may clarify, the setback on that left side, the wall of the structure would be at 5 feet where it currently sits now. The variance was there to accommodate an exterior staircase. So the gutters would be back at 5 feet. The drainage system, I guess all that to say, you know, nothing would be overhanging beyond that. Everything would be closer to the structure than that 2.4 feet.
I just wanted to clarify because the variance, even though the drawing shows that the stairs are on that side, unless the variance specifically limited that setback to only have stairs in it, then the footprint of the building itself could be expanded to that 2 foot 4 inch setback. And
I
then the stairs could
understand.
be, okay.
We would be willing to make that alteration to the request that variance is for only the stairs.
So, could you mind clarifying what of the existing structure are you keeping? Like, it seems like you're only keeping 2 walls. Is that correct?
2 walls and the slab will add on to the existing slab. But yes, the corner that sits on the 2, I guess that's the furthest extent of the property. We would keep as much as we can is the intent.
I got a couple of questions. Mac, you're representing owners. Who are you? You the contractor, designer?
Designer.
Okay. So I get clarification. The 2.3 is adjacent to the neighbor. 3 feet of that's the stair. Something like that, because you said 5 feet was where the wall was going to be.
Correct.
And so the wall at 5 feet, still 5 feet closer than it should be, just the wall itself, and then you add the stair to that. The 4.6 is towards the alley.
Correct.
Okay, so you're really tight and you're going up 2 stories now. So guess I'm just not understanding. I'll say one, the stair, why can it not be on the backside facing the landowner's house or the other side to take it away? So you at least you help that portion of it, right? Then we're only talking about a 5 foot versus 2.3.
Right. And that has been considered. And it's just really to try to encroach as little as possible into what's left of the backyard. If it would have an effect on the variance, we would consider moving the stairs out of that setback. If we did that, we'd be asking for the 5 foot setback on the left and the 4.5 feet on the back, and that would match the existing non-conforming structure. Would be encroaching no further than the structure currently does.
So I'm only one board member, but I would agree that I think encroaching towards the neighbor to lessen the encroachment to your own land is probably not a good argument. Secondly, let's say the stair disappears now. I'm at 5 feet. I didn't understand which 2 walls were to remain. That might help my next question.
The wall adjacent to the alley and the wall adjacent to the neighbor's property.
Okay. So the structure that's there now is 5 feet from the property line?
Correct.
So a question to Sherry, did something change where we used to be able to be 5 feet, or has that one always been 10 feet and that was just out of grandfathered in from a while ago?
No, it's 5 feet for 15 feet or under for an accessory structure.
Height.
It's the height of the structure that makes the setback increase.
Okay, so Mr. Braden, you can understand where you can be 5 feet when you're at a certain height, but the code says 10 feet when you go up a certain height. Now you might need an extra foot or something, but to go right back to 5 feet with that same height, that's tough to handle there based on our zoning variant. It's there for a reason. If you had to, the structure itself was off a few inches or a foot, that's, one thing. But to say I want to just go back to the 5 feet and go up high, that's a pretty strong ask. And on top of that, you got the stairs. So that one's a little
Understood.
messy for me.
Understood. I'd be willing to take the stair off the table just to be looking for the 5-foot setback instead of the 2.6-foot setback. The goal is to keep as much of the existing structure as possible, and that's the reason that we're asking for the variances that we are. The reason why the structure is staying where it is. We hope to not have to tear down the entire thing in order to
True, but
accommodate
you
the 2
understand
program spaces.
Yeah, you understand the point, though. The variance is to respect the neighbor next door. So you're asking to keep it at 5 feet and go up 2 stories when our code says when you go up that height, we need to move you back a little bit to give a little relief to the neighbor, right?
I understand.
And then the 4.6 is on the alley side. Is there enough room with the new idea to be able to turn the car in and out appropriately?
Yes, a car should be able to get in and out of the garage.
Mr. Cole, I drove down that alley from end to end, and it's a long alley because it runs
Right.
from pretty good ways. There are only 3 houses that utilize backyard parking on that alley because it is so tight. They're fit.
Right.
All the houses across the alley have fences along the back, and
Right.
I did notice that one of the houses they had backed their cars in instead
Okay.
of pulling it forward. So that was just
If, if,
drive-through.
if the 25-foot turn radius comes back into play, that was
Right.
brought up earlier.
Yeah, I know. I thought that's what he was.
I wanted
Um,
William to present this so I could actually bring that back to him, but I'm not sure the 25-foot radius on an alley is ever used, so I'm not sure
Yeah,
why he was doing that.
Certain it's not. Sherry, can you or Fred tell me, did we not give a variance for this carport? This is familiar to me.
I do not know. My involvement on this particular house is specific to this structure.
It looks awfully familiar to me. So
Yeah, I was going to say, Beverly, I feel like you and I voted that, like we allowed that to happen.
I think it's because it's not so narrow in the front that.
Well, it was open structure, and yeah, it was serving a purpose.
It's a carport. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I just want to make sure I've got the right house in mind. I've got a question regarding, and Sherry, I don't know if y'all computed this or not, but what the percentage of the permeable space is in the yard when they add this up.
that is absolutely something that we will look at. Because
there's a lot of concrete this house sits
at the time that because sometimes changes are made to hard surfaces when something like this is approved or is going to be built. And it does look like there's a whole lot of coverage there. According to the application, I believe they said 41%. Let me look.
It doesn't say what we got, so I just have.
It doesn't say. Maybe that was just a verbal that I had. But it's absolutely something that would be checked. We check it every time a building permit comes in. So even if this variance were granted, that does not exempt the amount of impervious area. So it would have to be reduced if it were exceeded. I noticed too, when I was reviewing it, that at one time there were many trees, and now there are not. You know how you can go back in time on Google Earth. Google Earth doesn't lie. And there were a lot of trees at one time. and there aren't any more. So that's also something that we look at when we look at building permits, because the tree ordinance does state that we are supposed to check for that. And so that's something else we would look at.
Okay. Thank you.
Mac, I think back to that open area in the backyard, as the designer, did you go look at that? And can you tell us, because it's not a complete variance request if you don't have that one worked out.
I'm not sure I understand the question. The backyard, the size of the backyard.
Yeah, we have another part of our rules about the imperviousness of your backyard and the percentage you're allowed to take that up.
Oh,
You're not
I'm
allowed
sorry.
to exceed.
You're still speaking to the impervious paving. I didn't
Yes.
realize that. Yeah, that we haven't done the calculations on what those percentages are. I'm not sure. Realized it was as close as it seems to be, but no, we would definitely ensure that everything meets those requirements.
Well, I think the problem is when I look at it, I think you're going to be over it. And then if you got yeses on this variance, you still couldn't do it. So you'd have to come back to this board asking for more.
Or remove,
Or remove, yeah, but then
Yeah.
you didn't need this variance if you remove it. So, I'm just not sure if you've got a complete final on this to know all that you need or don't need. Yeah, we can certainly vote on this, but you may still not have a solution.
I understand. I think we're willing to see what the vote is and get everything looked at and evaluated on the pervious and impervious paving and evaluate from there.
That's all I have, Beverly.
Okay. I don't have anything else either.
Voting on this one item at a time or together?
Yeah, I got that.
Let me just say real quick that based on the footprint, and if we went from the required setback for the house of 20 feet based on the lot width, the detached structure itself would not exceed the 30%, but I'm more concerned with the overall coverage of 50% for the
Right.
entire lot.
Same here.
Right.
Same here.
Agree.
If the lot had been more square, they would have some green space on the left-hand side of the driveway, but they don't because the way it comes in, the driveway took up all of that. It would normally have had some green space.
So Mac, we're saying, do you want us to vote both of them together or separate them?
We can vote separately.
Okay. If there's any more questions, I'll do a motion. So I'll go with the side. So for BZA case number SV 210405, I recommend us approving the side setback 2 feet 4 inches. Though I think we have a proffer to take the stair away and go to 5 feet. Is that true?
That is correct.
So with the proffer of relocating the stair not on that side, it'll go to a 5 foot side setback variance request.
I'll second.
All right. Ms. Smith,
No.
Mr. Cole,
No.
Mr. Foley,
No.
Ms. Hand,
No.
Ms. LaBeouf.
No.
All right, the second, I recommend we approve BZA case number SV 210405 for the rear setback of 4 feet 7 inches that would at the existing line of the existing structure.
I'll second.
All right. Ms. Smith,
No.
Mr. Cole,
Yes.
Mr. Foley,
Yes.
Ms. Hand,
No.
Ms. LaBeouf.
No. Motion does not pass. So neither one of them are approved. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And now